Great to see everyone here this morning. Not that everyone's here yet, but you guys are flipping amazing. What a start to the day. I don't know about you, but I've just been super productive this morning because there's a lot going on right now in the world, and there's a lot of people out there that need inspiring. There's a lot of people out there that need you to be the very best that you can be. Say hallelujah if you agree with me. There's a lot of people that need you guys to be the best that you can be. And you know what? You might want to write this down. The easy things in life, the easy things to do, as many of you know, are often the easy things not to do. So the biggest challenge we all face every single day is to work out what needs to get done. You know, what needs to get done? What is important? And let me just close this down and let me just bring all of you guys here. Does that make sense? I mean, that's the biggest challenge that we all have. Good morning, everyone. Let's get straight into the content. Before we do that, let me start my day by saying to you guys, happy, beautiful day. Happy, beautiful day in memory of the amazing Mr. Ian Williams. Ian, I think about you every day, my friend, inspired by you and inspired by Dr. Rakowski, the top nutritionist in the world, the resident nutritionist and health expert, along with Chris Pickard on My 365. So cheers to all of you. Please, guys, if you haven't shared this, share it right now. I think bottom left-hand corner if you're on your phone. Let's get this information out there. For me, this is a fundamental week, a groundbreaking week. But then I believe every week is a groundbreaking week because I believe the information that I'm going to be sharing with you, the information and the inspiration in which I give it, plus an incredible supportive group of people all around the world who will support you if you learn how to support yourself. And I want to ask you that question today. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to start showing up more in your own life and to be a better version of yourself? It's either yes or a no. If it's no, it's fine. I don't know why you're watching this. If that's the case, maybe you just like to be entertained and to see something going on, because there is something going on here. It's not just about the amount of people that are watching this. It's much, much more than that. It's people who are going, you know what? I want more. You see, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Most of us have only ever really been driven away from things. And we only really get to see the willpower that we have when something bad happens and we want to move away from it. Very few of us have ideas and visions of where we want to go. And because we don't have that, we fall short. We end up living an uninspired life. An inspired life is when you breathe life into something. And the greatest thing you can breathe into anything is your will to make something happen. So the exercise we did this week, boom, massive shout out to all of you that did it. But it's not the thing that you do once, you know, to say my ideal self. Who is my ideal self? What does my ideal self look like in 1 year, 5 years time? What would that be like? What would all the positives be for me if I reach my ideal self, if I reach my goals, my dreams, my ambitions, or at least work towards them, right? What would that be like? And what would the consequences of not doing that? The more you think about this, the more you write about it, the more you ingrain this, you will create a groove inside your own head. Now, they said groove is in the heart. No, that was a song. It's a groove that you want to create in your whole head, your heart, your gut, your soul, every cell of your body, because you, my friends, are a leader. You are a leader. What does that mean? You are leading every soul, every cell in your body. You're leading it as you move forwards every day. You're leading them. But what sort of a direction are you leading yourself? I'm asking you to really contemplate what you were doing and why you're doing it. It could be anything. Observe the masses and do the opposite. What are the masses doing? The masses are not using their will to create something. The most of the masses are creating something for somebody else in many cases. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but your life matters. So let's just do a quick review of the week on willpower. What did we look at? Willpower. And what am I asking all of you to do? If you're taking this seriously and you see me as your coach, then you need to answer these 3 questions. Ideally with a video, just answer the questions. You don't have to talk about anything else. What have you learned this week? What have you achieved? And what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with what you've learned and you've achieved? 3 questions. If you don't want to make a video, at least write it down and share it with other people. If you don't want to do that, write it down yourself and tell a few people. The more you do this, the more you hold yourself accountable. And this is what I'm doing. Because what is wildly important to you? Let me ask you the questions right now. What is wildly important to you in your life right now? Just write it down again. Remember, repetition is the mother of all skill. What's your mission right now? What are you working on? There might be a few things, but what's wildly important? Happy, beautiful day. So this is what I'm looking for. What have you learned? What have you achieved? What are you going to do with it? Just get it done. Get it out there. Hold yourself accountable. One day you'll be able to look back if you wanted and think and see how far you've come. Is this journey worth doing? Is it? If it's worth doing, it's got to be worth recording. I believe this is the best opportunity you will ever have in your entire life. Not just because I'm pretty world class. I am world class. And I get up every day working, refining my skills to help you. That's a massive part of it. But the other part of it is you probably won't find such a powerful community as the community that you have here. And the numbers this week, they're good. It shows that a lot of you have stayed the course. You've watched every day. If you're watching this on replay, you've watched every one, well done you. You rock. You're amazing. You're doing the work. Let's go deeper. Let's show up every day. Be willing to go to work on yourself and be willing to do things even when you don't feel like it. What is feeling like what's not feeling like something or not doing something got to do with it. So let's review willpower. What is it? It is the master aptitude, the queen of all virtues, to have the will to do something. Where there is a will, there is often a why. And that's why that exercise this week we did is so powerful. Because you look and you think, that's why I'm doing this. And the bigger the why and the more you can emotionalize what that why is, the more drive you're going to have just to make things happen and get things done. I really agree with so many of you, because you know, and I know, there's more to you than meets the eye. So we know it's the master aptitude, but we also know it can be trained. We know of the marshmallow experiment that was done, that Roy Baumeister talks about in this book, Willpower, the marshmallow experiment. These children were followed for decades afterwards. Massive predictor of things like body mass index. So many things in life are predicted by willpower, but you can train your willpower, and willpower outpredicts IQ. That's why people like Richard Branson, Alan Sugar, many of the most, Albert Einstein, who didn't fit into the school system, what did they have? They weren't intelligent in many cases in the way that most people would think of intelligence, but they had willpower. It's time for us to cultivate our willpower, and we can all do that. How do we do this? The first way to cultivate your willpower is to think about what it is that you're trying to create. And when you have an impulse, because where we need willpower is often to stop ourselves from doing things that we know isn't good for us to do, right? How many times do you think, oh, I'll do that. I'll eat that Mars bar. I'll eat that chocolate. I'll just have a surf on YouTube for a while. And what happens is your impulses get hot. What we need to do is cool down your impulses. And one of the best ways to cool down your impulses is to meditate, believe it or not, or to find activities that are very calming to you. You want to cool down your impulses, and you want to heat up your desire to move forwards, to create your ideal self, to achieve your goals and your dreams. What else did we look at this week? We looked at this whole thing of, which again is the same thing, the fMRI machines. Put you in an fMRI machine, ask you to think of you, then ask you to think of a stranger and see different parts of the brain light up. Then get you to think of yourself in the future. And in many cases, the same part of the brain that lights up with the stranger lights up when you think about yourself in the future. What does that mean? It means you don't have a vision of where you're going, so you don't act in accordance with the future. You just act in the now. That's why many of us make really poor decisions, because, well, they're good decisions in that moment, but one day you'll look back and you'll regret many of the decisions that you made because you didn't pre-commit to something in the future. Now, I'm not saying we should always be in the future and we shouldn't enjoy the now, but what we do in the now should be contributing to where we want to go. And that's what you're doing, just showing up here daily. So what else do we look at this week? We need to develop an intimate relationship with our future self. This is one thing that you could start to do, is to start thinking about how would that you act in the future, and just be an actor in your day-to-day life. What else did I want to say on this? I really wanted to talk about pre-commitment, committing to something before it happens. Deciding what it is that you're going to do. And the greatest way to harvest, because most of us let me give you an example, willpower. You need to, let's say with food, leave your willpower at the supermarket. So if, for example, you think, I love crisps, what could you do with the crisps? Well, you could buy them and have them in your house. If they're in your house, it's going to drain your willpower, possibly, if you're thinking about them. So don't buy them. If you don't buy them, your willpower won't get drained by thinking about them because they're not there. Now, that's the way that you could look to cultivate your willpower, by doing things that give you willpower. And this is where the dichotomy really comes in for most people. A lot of people drain their willpower by thinking about exercise and then not doing it. If you want willpower, exercise and see how you feel. But you've got to use a bit of willpower to get yourself to do it. If you want to eat well, you need a bit of willpower to start the cooking. But if you notice after you've eaten a healthy meal that you've cooked, notice how much more willpower you have. You need willpower to get yourself often to meditate or to do yoga. Not everyone, but most people. But notice how you get to feel afterwards. Such a simple thing, but that's how we start to cultivate our willpower. And ultimately, as we bring this week to a close, the most ultimate form of willpower is to love what you do. Now, I love what I do, and that's what gives me the willpower to do what I do. But this week, I've had a few late nights, and I've still got up at 4. So I ended up feeling exhausted yesterday. So I had to take decisive action and go to bed last night at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. I can't defy the laws of nature. Most people need between 7 and 8 hours of sleep a night. Most people. Why am I telling you this? Because there is a price to pay for whatever it is that you want to achieve. And you've got to get uncomfortable in order to get what you want. Because if you haven't got what you want right now, it's probably because you haven't got uncomfortable, or you don't like getting uncomfortable. Take some time to ponder. Every week, you can see, watch me on Instagram. I've posted the time I've woken up. Get across, when the alarm goes off, I go and turn the alarm off because I put the phone on the other side of the room. And then I take a picture of the time that it went off and I post it on Instagram. I'm not saying you should go to bed at 8 or you should get up at 4. It's up to you to find out what works for you. But I get a whole lot of stuff done between the hours of 4 and 7. Plus I meditate, plus I do yoga, plus I keep my journal. Now, you don't have to do all of that. But what I'm saying is this: if you don't go to work on putting some will into creating your days, then you'll just go into days where you react. And most of us, we're very disciplined in serving others. We're very passionate in many cases about serving others rather than serving ourselves. I really hope you've had an amazing week. I most definitely have. I'm looking forward to seeing people's reviews, written or videos. What have you learned? What have you achieved? What are you going to do with it? If you often need willpower to get yourself in front of the camera and speak to the camera, it's one of the biggest fears that people have. But fear, in most cases, is false evidence appearing real. I'm going to summarize this now on Instagram by Instagrammers. Guys, you can follow me on Instagram as well. You can follow me. Just follow me if you want. I'm a good person at that. Here we go. I'm going to just make a little video summary. Are you ready? Here we go. So what a week it's been, 5 days on willpower. And I know many of you have exercised a lot of willpower. Look, the numbers have been pretty high the whole week, which shows you've needed the will to probably get out of bed and to do things differently. Where there is a will, there is a way. And for me, it's such an important subject. I've studied this subject ever since I came across, where is the book? Ever since I came across this book by Roy Baumeister, Willpower, The Marshmallow Test. Guys, if you haven't, those of you on Instagram, go and check out facebook.com/mi365.me, because for me to give a summary of a minute of what you could get out of learning how to cultivate willpower. Willpower can be cultivated. It is the master virtue. And it's time for us to use a bit of willpower to get willpower. Use it to exercise. Use it to meditate. Use it to go to bed earlier so you become a better version of yourself. Guys, thank you so much for showing up this week. We really appreciate it. You know, we have a big mission. We couldn't do it without you. We want to impact the lives of 100 million people. Now, as Jim Rohn once said, one of the legends of the personal development world, don't wish things were better. Wish you were better. How do you do that? Do something about it. You are. I love every single one of you. Thank you for being here. If you haven't shared this, please share it. Let's get this information out there to the world. This is the stuff that people need to know. Much love to you all. Let's just bring up a few comments here. Thank you. Thank you, Janet. I know you're doing awesome this week. You have really immersed yourself in what we're doing. Leslie, you too. Have an amazing day. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you to all of you. Do it, Sarah. Do it, do it, do it. Wishing everyone a fabulous day. And I love looking at all of your comments and your emojis and your videos. I learn a lot from you guys. Show up. Don't play it small. It's time to go big or go home. Take care. Have a great day. We'll see you on Monday for the week on movement. We're going to move like we never moved before. That's right.